Good morning, everyone. Our next adventure is going to be attempting to hatch brine shrimp to feed mine and Don's fish. This is Phil. Phil's had kind of a rough time lately. He had a bacterial infection. He wasn't feeling really well, so we had to make some changes. We upped the temperature in his tank a little bit. We added a little extra salt. We put a little bit of garlic in his tank to get him to eat a little better, and some other minor issues to try to get rid of his bacterial infection. Well, he's looking a lot better because he was starting to get fin rot. I know you can't see him really well, this camera won't record him, but he is a beta. And he's blue. He is in love with his plant. So as I mentioned earlier, the next project Don and I are going to be working on, our next little adventure, is attempting to hatch brine shrimp eggs so that we have brine shrimp live to feed our fishies. You've met Phil already, and now I'm going to introduce you to the rest of the fish family.
Okay. This
beautiful white fish is Pearl. How long have we had these new fish, Don?
Well, I think we started getting the fish. It was sometimes last spring, about the time we got Nikki, which is another story. Right?
But when did we get the new goldfish?
I think it was like April, May, something like that.
No. That was the original tank.
Okay, yeah.
But when did we get just the new fish? The ones that we got a couple of months ago?
That's been fairly recently, since like Christmas, maybe a little before, sometimes around that November, December.
Okay, sometime during the holidays we got these new fish. And this is Pearl, the white one, the beautiful white koi with the flowing fins. And the one that looks like Ziggy Stardust is named Bowie. He's got those very distinctive markings that you could remember from Bowie's old Ziggy Stardust character. And that's our tribute to David Bowie. Then we've got these little guys, and these little fish came from a pond nearby, actually. We were trying to establish the tank, so we needed some little guys to start us off, but they are still around. There were 4 of them. One of them ended up with some sort of swim disorder and died, but these guys are still around. Now Pearl attempts to eat them every single day though, and they're a little faster than her so far, but there is a possibility that they are soon going to be fish food. Then this other fish, I don't know if you can see his face, but he has a little small black mustache and a funny little bit of hair over the top of his, or what looks like a little bit of hair over the top of his head. So we have named him Adolf because he really looks a lot like Hitler. But he's starting to outgrow his spots, which a lot of goldfish will do. Koi have a tendency to keep their markings, but goldfish can outgrow their colors. It's very common for them to go from being colored to solid colors. All gold, or maybe one that had a little black on them could even go to an all black goldfish. But what we tend to do when we buy goldfish or koi, or buy the ones that have distinctive markings, in hopes that they will keep them. And for some reason, they tend to be pretty hardy. The ones that are solid gold, they don't tend to live as long, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, being that I'm not a fish expert. But this is our tank. It's been established for about a year now. And there's also, in the back, on the back of this submarine, if you can see, an albino algae eater. When we got him, he was maybe half an inch long, and now he's going on 4 inches. His name is Johnny, as in Johnny Winters. He is 100% albino, even though he looks kind of orange and yellow. That's probably from all the yummy shrimps and whatnot he likes to eat. Anyway, our tank is established. We'll show you eventually how to maintain this tank. I know you say, oh, it looks really clean. Well, there's a secret to that, and we'll tell you guys all about that. We've recently added a heater to their tank, and it's right now at about, I know you can't really see it well. Right now it's about 100, I'm sorry, right now it's about 75 degrees in there, and there's their little heater. And they have a bubbler. Bloop. Here's the little guys. Alright, so our attempt to hatch these brine shrimp is so these guys get a special treat. Because right now all they're eating is extreme aquatic foods. It's spirulina shrimp flakes and I don't know what the back of it says. I can't see it. It's so small. And this is cat scrappers, which are sinking pellets for our algae eater. He's a plico, I believe they call those. And then we feed them that once a day. And then in the evenings before I put them to bed, they get a little bit of goldfish flakes. And this is to help keep the color on the goldfish, because if you don't feed them quality foods, their color can get really pale. Because if you put a goldfish in the dark, it actually will not be gold anymore. It will turn white, sometimes other colors. Anyway, so that's the fishy family. It's time to feed them, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so you can see them feasting. One thing that Don is enjoying about this little video project is that he likes hearing me tell my little stories. Don't you, Don?
Yes, I do.
And Don's a pretty good storyteller. He's a much better storyteller than I am, so I might have to get him to tell us a few stories too. Alright, so here's goldfish feeding time. We're going to feed them their shrimp flakes. Now, I've had this food for a while because it tends to last. And unfortunately, we're down to kind of the bottom of the barrel now, so the shrimp flakes are small. So I just put a pinch in the top there and everybody goes to town. Even the little guys are up there eating. Now, the key to keeping your tank clean, or one of the many keys, is to not overfeed your fish. And there's a fine line between what's too much and what isn't, so you have to figure that out. And if the fish definitely think they're getting not enough food, it's definitely probably the right amount. And I think Pearl, who's a little piggy, will probably eat as long as there's food available. And you can kind of see her trying to get the other fish, the little baby fish. Or they're not really baby fish, they're actually called something. I found out the name skeleton something and other, but I can't remember right now. And then we just drop one of the cat scrapper tabs. You can see it's just a little pellet. Looks kind of like cat food. Just drop it in and it sinks to the bottom. And Pearl attempts to eat it, but it doesn't quite fit in her mouth. Anyway, so she eventually gives up and she goes back up to the top. And then that food stays on the bottom. And Johnny comes over and gets it in a little bit. And being an algae eater, he will clean the side of the tank if he's hungry. Clearly he's not hungry because you can see there's some algae growing on the back of the tank. Now this is an algae scraper, which is actually a really nice trick. It's got a magnet on one side, and on the opposite side of the glass, there's something stuck to that magnet that has a little pad of material on it. And all you do is just pull it, and it pulls that other piece along with it, and it just wipes the side of the tank. So when it gets too bad on this side, I just wipe that off. This is the brand of brine shrimp that we are going to attempt to hatch. It's funny because it says 100% from the Great Salt Lake, USA, but they shipped from China, so pretty sure that's not where the Great Salt Lake, USA is. And the instructions on the back are to keep refrigerated, but they obviously didn't come refrigerated, so we're going to go throw them in the refrigerator. And it says use clean seawater or artificial salt water with a specific gravity. And then it says salinity should be 25 to 28 parts per thousand, and that the pH should be 7.5 to 8.5, and that the density of the eggs should not exceed 2 grams per liter. Water temperature should be 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. And it says optimum hatching time is 24 to 36 hours. But my method of hatching these should probably work very well once we get everything we need. And we are on an adventure to do that today.